Thanks for listening to the AZ12 podcast, proudly presented by Little Caesars. Code 15 or code LCFREECC, free crazy combo with a pizza purchase, or 15% off any online order. Code to save 15 with John Brogan and Tyler Warden. I am merely Mike Luke. All right, we've got a lot to get to today, guys. But first, before we get into anything else, let's just talk about it. This was a butt kicking. This was the best way that you could put it. Arizona, Brogan and I were talking a little bit on the phone about this. Arizona could play Arkansas 10 times. Arkansas would win one, and Arkansas would only win that game just because they would have gotten hot from three or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. It's surprising because we knew how they didn't play defense.
Right.
I still didn't think we'd be capable of shooting 67% from the field and just doing whatever we wanted in the front court throughout the game. Right. For what it's worth, Acuff had the exact night that we kind of expected him to have. He had 28 points, but it was on 8 of 19 shooting. You didn't really get anything out of Trayvon Brazile. You didn't really get anything out of Billy Richmond. And this was BYU or Kansas all over again, but with a team that is a lot worse defensively.
Yeah, Brogan.
Yeah, when you looked at the score at halftime, Arizona's up 11. They had scored 30 points from two, but 26 of those were in the paint. They were shooting 58% or whatever. I was in a group text, and it was like, I don't know if Arizona can continue their shooting. I'm like, well, if they continue to shoot from 4 feet, like
right.
it's probably going to maintain. And that's what you saw in the second half is, Arkansas plays, they remind you of AAU basketball. We're going to run a bunch of ISOs, a bunch of high screen and rolls. There's nothing fancy on offense. We just have really good players, so that's what we're going to do. And we're going to sort of maybe guard at the rim, but we're not going to really play team defense. There's no help concepts. There's nothing like that. There's no adjustment to zone, which if you watched Arizona play all year, we don't shoot a lot of threes. Against zone, we slow down and get a little stagnant sometimes. So, but that's Calipari, right? He's the greatest recruiter of all time and average to below average X's and O's.
And a very, very average coach. And the thing about it, too, you watch this game, fellas, the thing that was amazing to me about all of this was that Arizona, you knew going in that they were going to try to live in the paint, and that's exactly what they did. From Mo to Tobe to Koa, there was nothing complicated about what Arizona was trying to do. They just did exactly what they wanted to do, and they going to get their sheet. Tyler Warren.
Yeah, but Brogan hit the nail on the head. This is like the epitome of AAU basketball making it to college. And like we know this is Calipari's MO, right? He's a great recruiter. He's not great with the X's and O's. But like everything about this game was we want to get out in transition. We just want to put up as many shots as we can and get to the rack. But like we're not going to really do much defensively. Ironically enough, one of the biggest surprises from the game is that we didn't really out-rebound them to the effect that I thought we would. We were +2 on the glass.
That's surprising.
Yeah, right now, part of that is because we were 67% from the field. So, like, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for offensive rebounds. But this was a complete imposing of our will. And to any Razorback fans, that are out there that are, saying that the refs had the whistle, and like, I don't know what the hell you could be talking about. Because at the end of the day, this is a team that's 5 of 8 from three-point range. They got to the line 39 times. And they just belt to ass. That's the only way to put it.
And the other thing about it, too, is that they were, they lost their composure. I mean, at the end of the game, the last 10, 12 minutes, they lost their composure, Brogan. I mean, you knew that they were never, when you started seeing them, you start looking around, Calipari's just standing there. This was going to be an issue for them, and this is exactly what it was.
Yeah, and most of the coaches in the Big 12 have talked about this. You see Arizona on film. Okay, they're a physical team. They beat you up inside. They attack the basket, all these things. And then when you get on the court and you play the game, after the game, they're all like, okay, that was different. Right. We didn't know exactly what that was. And that's what you saw with Arkansas. They talked a good game. They're a big physical team. They know they want to pound inside, blah, 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 blah. But then when you watch the game, Arizona that was just grown man basketball. I was texting a couple other buddies of like, this game felt like Arizona was an NBA team. Arkansas was a college team in terms of size, physicality, attacking the basket with ease, getting whatever they wanted. And Arkansas is just not built for that. Their bigs are skinny. They're athletic. They're not super physical. And, Arizona just made a point, start the game, come out of the second half. We're just going to throw the ball inside, go to the rim, shoot layups, and this will be an easy one.
And that's exactly all right. We got a bunch of super snaps here, and these are very generous super snaps. First, let's go with Vegas Falcon first. $100 super snap. Suck it, Calipari. Go Cats. Elite 8 pound, baby. Very much appreciated. $100 super snap. Lee Ferris, $49.99. That was fun. Yes, it was, Lee Ferris. You are fun as well. Thank you, my friend. Bear Down J, BTFD, the girth of all girth. Yeah, the girthiest. All right, what do we got? OC Bodybuilders, $9.99 super snap. Elite 8 BTFD. I love this team. I love you, OC Bodybuilders. Okay, and Eddie Lent, $20. Toby is an absolute monster. BTFD, very much appreciate you as well. That's the other thing. You know what's kind of funny in this game, and it just goes to show you Arizona's incredible amount of riches right here. And we're gonna get to the sisters. Don't worry, Grant. The sisters had a tough day, but the thing that I look at though with this team though is I message, and again, I'm not always right. I know people are used to me being right on everything. I'm not always right. I know. I'm not always right. But I'm gonna say, I'll say this though. I didn't know that this was necessarily going to be a Mo game. I liked when they put in Tobe. Guess what? Tobe killed it. Mo killed it. Koa killed it. Every big man. I almost got the sense that CD would have killed it if he came in. Guys, it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was like Tommy Lloyd was Willy Wonka and the team was this chocolate factory. Whatever you wanted, you had, right? Like, I don't know a single guy that played poorly on the court tonight. I think we had a little too many turnovers, especially that under 7 mark, right? And, we started to get a little loose with it. And that's where I think a bulk of them came from. But like you look at, Avon, 15 points. He was your leading scorer going into halftime. Koa with 21, Mo with 14, Braden with 23, JB with 14, Tobe with 14. Like, nobody played poorly. Everybody, right, at the very least, had a, baseline level game. Yeah, if I would have been interested to see CD in there, particularly to get like his length and athleticism against somebody like Brazil, because credit to Arkansas, they are an athletic team. Right. But like it's a different strokes.
Right, Brogan.
Yeah, and what I kept coming back to before this game, everybody who's been an Arizona fan, at least as long as Jason Shear and longer, then
over the last 8-9 years.
you understand that Arizona was 7.5 point favorites, lost to Clemson, around 7.5, lost to Xavier, lost to Princeton, and then you go back to earlier Miller time. They had some early exits, early exits, right? So coming to this game, I get why everybody was a little apprehensive. We all were, but everything you looked at said that Arkansas loves to get out in transition. Arizona this year, historically great in transition defense. Arkansas scores mostly from 2. Arizona's top 10 in the country in 2-point defense. Right. Arizona's great from 2 points. Arkansas's 300 in college basketball in 2-point defense. Like, everything you looked at suggested that Arizona was going to smack Arkansas.
Well, all right, let's talk about.
They got NBA players, so it's like, okay, I'm going to be a little nervous.
But to make a point of that, like, the anxiety was purely because of our own historical concerns, right? It was, oh, hell, this is 2014. This is 2015. This is Princeton. This is Clemson. I mean, like, the list goes on and on. It had nothing to really do with this team. Yeah. To that extent, I hope that, like, fans come away from this and they're, emboldened going into that Purdue game of like, hey, this is different. This is not the same walkout team.
Right. All right. We got to talk about, all right, I'm going to beat up, I was going to wait a little bit, but I want to beat up the sisters here for a minute. All right, we'll get to super snaps. What do we got? Okay. Bear Down J, 1999, another 20. Screw it. Tommy ain't going anywhere. Very much appreciate you, Bear Down J. Glad Rock, 4330, $10. Front pipe is spectacular. Oh, we're going to get to the front pipe.
It will be. It will be,
my friend. M Strom, 3 down, Final 4 next. LFG. Yes, sir, my friend. Very much appreciate you. And a TMC Kai. Purdue really makes me nervous. Experienced white guys who can ball, can make you play their game. Feels like 2014. We will get to that. All right, but I'm going to say, Lance, $5. Climbed out of their dirt. Bear down. Very much appreciate you, Lance, 2911. All right,
Mike, I think your ticket just got paid for. Your flight is paid for now.
Well, we have the best people out there. You guys are fantastic. Very much appreciate you. I'm going to say this about John Calipari. I've never been a big Calipari. I like how I like this. I like how Calipari is honest that we're going to have you come here and it's about the name on the back, not the name on the front. We're going to get you off to the MNBA. John Calipari is a great recruiter. He is not a good coach. I don't know how else to put that. I don't know how you could have watched that game for 5 minutes. They don't play any defense. And Brogan made a very, very good point. And I'm going to say this. Oh, by the way, $199 from Wilmer's Big Burner. We deserve this. That's him getting that money out. That's him getting that money out of his trapper keeper from his old U of A days, my friend. Dibble, my guy, Cal sucks. Purdue is going to get obliterated. This team is a wrecking ball. Pay for Mike's flight. Very much appreciate you, J Dibs. Yeah, we love J Dibs. Okay, and there was another one up there as well, I think, that I missed. But fatherless gay Ted. Yeah. Bear it down. You guys run a great show. Appreciate you, buddy. Okay. I'm going to say this about Calipari, and this was something that really that Brogan and I were talking about. Watch the press conferences with Calipari. I didn't watch him, but Brogan clued me in on him, and I just watched. This dude didn't even know who half the players on the team were. They would ask him a question like about Mo, and he's like, yeah, they got the tall guy up front. He's good. Del Oreo, he can shoot threes, and everything was in the most. Everything was in the most vague of vagities. Is vagity a word? If it's not, it should be a word. Brogan, just kind of tell a little bit what you saw, because it is kind of it's a little disconcerting.
Well, and what you expect is what you get from Tommy, right? Hey, talk to us about Arkansas. Well, I coached Acuff. I know Malik Thomas through the AU circuit, probably recruited him. And he'll go through their roster and go like 8 or 9 deep and tell you what each player, you can tell he's prepped, he's studied film, he knows the players, he knows their tendencies. It's not just his assistant's game plan for the team and he's doing who knows what. Right. With Calipari, it's probably the first time that I've seen an example of a top tier, top 10, 15S type coach.
Right.
Where I was like, does this guy, he knows he's playing Arizona, but has he spent any time on what Arizona does, or is literally delegating everything to his assistants? And so when it's well, yeah, they got the really good big guy down low and they got Del Oreo. Then they asked him about Karchenkov, and he's like, well, this guy Del Oreo comes in, and you're like, where'd he come from? And I'm like, that's not who they asked you about. They're white, so I get it, but that's okay.
Yeah, he definitely mixed them up because they're white.
Yes. Yeah, but it was
100%.
I can't remember another time where there's been a high level coach who literally didn't know the starting 5 of the other team and what they do. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why Calipari only has 1 national championship. And it came when he had Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Marcus Teague. And it's this is what your MO is. Your thing is you want to get guys on the campus. And back in the day, I'm sure you were probably throwing the bag and, you bring the swag and all that. But when it comes tournament time, you are going to underperform because you don't run a system. You get a collection of 5 guys and go out there and you play street ball.
Yeah,
and what's amazing about that is there's no coach in college basketball history that's put better pros into the NBA than John Calipari. Lots of guys have recruited top 5, top 10 overall players. Coach K, you could go down the list.
But they know who they're
playing. He developed pros, but what it shows is the college game coaching matters. You see it with Iowa. You see it with some of the mid-majors. Coaching matters, not just players, and you see that with Calipari.
Is it fair to say, because I know the sisters disagreed with me, but is it fair to say that Rick Pitino is a better coach than John Calipari? Is that fair 100%. To say?
Yeah, I think that's clear at this point.
Yes. All right. Okay. Now let's get into it. All right. We'll get a couple more super snaps caught up here, Cody, and then we're going to get into, I want to go player by player here because basically everybody did a really, really good job. All right. And we're going to read them all at the end too. So if I miss you something, or Cody, can you put those up, please? Thanks. Jeremiah Dibble, Cal sucks. Purdue is going to get obliterated. This team is wrecking ball. Pay for Mike's flight. Very much appreciate it. Dibble. Okay. Stone Cold Munchkin, $25. Yes, thanks. Bear Down J, $19.99. Well, now that we're paying for Mike's flight, we might as well pay for his hotel stay. Yes. All right. Holden Tudix, $97, $199. BTFD.
Mike never gets any of these. It's amazing.
What, Holden Tudix?
It's like Anchor. It's basically like our version of Anchorman.
Holding 2. Oh, I get it.
This is the one of 7 that you've gotten.
Oh gosh! All right, BAB Yes, now, baby, let's go. I just hope the refs don't fall for Kaufman Wren's antics this next game like they did versus Texas. Absolutely terrible. Yes. All right, Angel Chavez, $9.99. Very much appreciate Angel Antonio Chavez. Andre Veras, rough night for the Spacers. This whole season's been a rough night for the Spacers. Bear Down J, 99. For Drake being a fool and Arizona winning the championship, we'll lock on Big 12 finally talk about the school that went 9-3. No chance. That's it. It'll just be Provo. And Jesse Bridges, shout out to my daughter Allie for watching the game with me. Yeah, my daughter she won't come watch the games with me. The Glad Rock, $5. Now we can root for Papa Patino tomorrow night with a smile. Maybe at an Italian restaurant. Okay, now back to the Ray paying for Mike's Anthony Del Taco. That's good. All right, so let's go player by player though. I want to talk about Yvonne first. Yvonne was a stud in this game. Yvonne had maybe his toughest game. Yvonne had maybe his toughest game of his career, or one of them, against Utah State. Because the thing that we've said about Yvonne pretty much all season was that when you look at Yvonne, he is a guy that he doesn't do stupid things. Like if he might not score, the shot's not falling. Yvonne was getting, jump balls. He was getting in there. He was doing a lot of different stuff. But he getting jump balls on. He was having his balls jumped on, whatever. It wasn't a good play. Yeah, he was having his balls jumped on. Nobody wants that. But he didn't
Jeremy
play well.
fears those.
Yeah, Jeremy Fears says, "Hey, give me those. I'll show you what to do with those." But he was amazing though. From getting to the bucket, finishing everything, making his free throws, the little pull-up jumper, none of the turnovers or anything like that. Yvonne was an absolute stud. There's really no other way I could put it. Yvonne was a monster in this game.
The thing that I thought was so encouraging about Yvonne is against Utah State, he really struggled when they forced him into the paint on the drive. And he got stripped a couple of times, and I think there was even a jump ball in there, right? And so when you have a game like that, it's very easy to become hesitant in terms of going to the rack. And we've seen a couple of times over the past, call it 2 weeks, where he goes in so aggressively at that kind of sharp baseline angle that, he puts a little too much mustard on it. Tonight was, I think, his crispest offensive performance in terms of like playing at the rim, being able to drive to the baseline, being able to kind of hit that 5 to 6 foot kind of floater. So that was, I think, what was most encouraging, because what you're going to get out of him defensively. But when you can kind of open up that offensive game, that is a real difference maker on this team.
Yeah, Brogan.
Yeah, I think it's something that maybe we didn't even really think about or underestimated, is like when you think about Ivan's strengths on offense, it's getting into the paint, it's awkward finishes, kind of Euro step, all of that stuff, little floaters. I hate his three ball because he launches it 100 miles in the air. But I think maybe the thing I underestimated in this game, especially with Ivan, is like if they're not going to play defense, like that's tailor-made for him. Utah State was 5 guys with a foot in the paint, and if you're a slasher attacker, like the game gets a lot harder. To Tyler's point, this game, they had 4 feet at the 3-point line and 1 guy in the paint who might help, who might not help. And their defense was kind of tailor-made for him to have an impact on offense, and he took advantage of it for sure.
What I also love too about him though is that he just fits. Like, and again, we talked about this a million times. Carter Bryant might be a better basketball player, but what this team needs is what Yvonne provides, and I think that is just that's what he does. And I'm going to say this as well. This was put in the comments as well. I love that Arizona kept its foot on the gas too. Yeah. One of the few complaints this year is that there were some times with about 5 minutes left where you start slowing it down. Arizona knew that they could get whatever the heck it wanted in this game. And Tommy Lloyd said it, that Tommy Lloyd clearly said during the timeouts, and you could read his lips, and he said exactly this: "I'm going to get mine." And that's what they did. I love that they stayed aggressive.
Well, so they did start to take their foot off the gas with like 5 minutes left, but that was when it was a 24-point game, right? You're getting a little lazy with your inbounds passes, and you're getting trapped in the front court. And it's like, fine. If that's when that stretch is going to come, great. But I thought the most encouraging thing was the thing that fans were worried about with this game is, are you going to have a 5, 6, or 7 minute stretch offensively where you can't find a bucket?
Right.
And we had a miniature version of that for about 3 or 4 minutes there midway through the second half. But they were able to get the stops that they needed to defensively. They were able to kind of reorient themselves and find a way to finally get the ball back inside. And at that point, it was game over.
Yeah, my guy Jay Dibbs says Yvonne is our glue. That's a great way of putting it. You know, he is Brogan. You know Jeremiah Dibble. Every now and then Jeremiah Dibble comes up with a good point. No, they're all good points. This is one of those points though with John Brogan.
He's the connector, is the word these days. Used to be the glue guy. Now you're the connector.
Yes.
Well, and the thing about Ivan is Burries has a clear role as like alpha scorer. Koa, Krivas, and Awaka, that's your trio in the paint, like easy buckets, defense at the rim. Ivan's the guy that does a little bit of everything. He can hit an occasional three. He can get you a bucket. He deflects a ton of balls. He plays defense. He can guard 3 or 4 positions. And so he's the most versatile player they have, which then allows you to kind of mix and match the parts. He allows you to play Del Orio at the 2 sometimes and not the 3 all the time. He allows you to play Aristotle at the 3. He can shift to the 4. So he's kind of the guy that makes the pieces mix and match a little better and gives you a lot of variety with your options when you sub and stuff.
All right. My buddy Rudy Bastillo also a Flowing Wells. What are they? The Cowboys? The Flowing Wells Cowboys? What are they?
The Caballeros.
Yes.
Oh, the Caballeros or whatever they are. Yeah. All right. Well, Rudy's in here as well. We like Dibble more than Rudy, although Rudy's all right as well. Okay. $4.99. I will buy Tyler a beer in Indy. All right. I know what you're doing. Listen. I learned from this. Mike _Hawk _520. Nice try there. Yeah.
Quick study.
I'll say this. I like it was probably a couple months ago, but I said that I might retire from the shoey. If we go to Indianapolis,
you're shoeing it up.
I'm Brett Favre in that thing. I'm coming out of retirement.
I mean, Sarah, are you even sending like a picture to the significant? Well, never mind. I won't even get into that one. But that might
be encourages it.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
She encourages the behavior.
I understand. Yeah. I mean, when you're Tyler, my mom's watching right now, and I guarantee you she's just looking at your hair. She's talked about
that's why I didn't wear a hat.
Well, no, she said you can never wear a hat again. You can never wear a hat again because of your hair. She likes both of you a great deal. All right. Now, I want to talk about Koa for a second here. Oh, Mike Natowski is in here. You know what? Since Mike Natowski, you know what? Well, no, we're going to do the GVDR read at the end. Mike Natowski's my man, though. I'm going to say this, though. We're going to talk about Koa Pete. Let's get a couple reads in here, and then we're going to get to Koa Pete because I think a lot of people do not give Koa Pete the credit, including our good pal Kobe L. Thiel. All right, but first, Alchemy, baby. Insurance and financial solutions for Wildcat Nation. The great thing about this is, again, we're in the 21st century now. Players get paid, people get money, and, guess what? Alchemy is there to help. Everybody, look around the country, everybody has naming rights. Why not have a naming rights with somebody that actually is an Arizona fan and is at these games? They were in San Diego. They're at San Jose. We're going to have them back on the show again. They're absolutely fantastic. Curtis and Josh can't speak any better of them. And again, you'll be seeing them more. Back the Alchemy, as Jerry Reyes says, business insurance, personal insurance, benefits, life, wealth management, you name it, they got it. Check it out. InsuranceEverything.com. Boom. Man, there's so many Flowing Wells Cowboys in this. All right, yeah, Casino del Sol. All right, now our good the betting machines are working there now. It is fun. Check it out. Again, you go in there, you make some money. Not everybody can be like Jeremiah Dibble, where you go around and you're just making money left and right. Is it hand over fist?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hand over fist. Go to Casino del Sol and make it hand over fist. And I'm going to say this. You go there, you can get good drinks. You can stay there. You can bring the lovely ladies with you. Or, I guess bring the lovely guy, depending on, we don't judge around here. They got the pool. They got everything in there. Check it out. Casino del Sol. Boom. All right, one more. All right. All right, all right, Baggins. Now, our pal Rudy Bastillos in here. Rudy Bastillos is a guy, he needs to lose a couple pounds, but he really likes good food. Baggins is here for Rudy Bastillos. Use code AZ12 for 15% off. If your BMI is around 40, you need to go to Baggins, my friend. Go to Baggins and get these gourmet sandwiches. You will thank me later, and it is good. Tyler Warden, are you still trying to lose weight, Tyler Warden?
Yeah, I need to lose about 15 pounds.
All right. Well, either way, just eat Baggins. Just eat Baggins the entire time then. Yes. And then if you go there tomorrow or on Saturday, you might see our good friend Kai with Dennis Walsh. Check it out. Baggins Gourmet Sandwiches, baby. Back the bag. Yeah. Anyone know why?
Reminded me of go ahead.
Anyone know $2 super snap? Anyone know why Mike constantly brings up race? Because it's fun. Boom. I don't get offended by it. It's fun. I don't know why. It's not like we're saying anything bad. We're having fun with it.
Wait till we talk Purdue.
It's a good descriptor too.
Yeah.
Did
BMI.
you say they play white boy basketball? You know exactly what you're talking about. What they are.
Cold soup.
It's vivid for sure.
Yeah. White boy. Yeah. Hey, wait a second here. Fine. Rudy doesn't have 40% BMI. It's 32. My fault. I apologize. All right. Okay. Koa Pete. I'm going to say this. I am bigger on Koa Pete. Now, our good pal Dennis Walsh is not a huge fan of Koa Pete at the next level. I'm going to say this, though, about Koa Pete. I am a fan of Koa Pete at the next level because Koa can do a lot of things that other people just can't do at his size. You saw it, and I think you're going to see it more in the MNBA as well, but he's able to dribble the ball. He can take it full court. He's a really nifty passer. He has got a lot of skills to him that I think people just think he's kind of this, and this isn't meant as a put down by any means, but he's kind of like this Awaka bruiser type or something. This dude has a lot of skills that are going to translate to the next level, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, look, in a game like this, like I don't want to say negative things about Koa, right? But Koa is kind of like the sports car that has all the bells and whistles, but you're missing a couple tires, right? And what I mean by that is his perimeter offense is not anywhere near where it needs to be at the next level in order for him to have a solid career. Now, with that said, he played 4 years at Perry and he just bully balled everyone, right? So this is his first year ever having to really have some type of a perimeter offensive game, and it's going to develop. That's kind of why I have taken the position of I think it does make sense for him to come back for another year, because you have to have some semblance of a three ball in that tweener kind of 3-4 position that he's in. But all of the flash, the when he plays with some swagger and he's no look passing and he can dribble it up and down the court and he can cross guys over, like that's the stuff that is going to take him to an all-star level in the league. But it's got to start with a baseline level of work that I just don't think is there yet.
Yeah, Brogan.
Well, I want to start with saying if Koa comes back, which he won't, but if he did come back, we'd be the #1 team in the country next year. Coming off an ad.
Back.
I agree. He needs to develop a perimeter game. Like in the NBA, for him to be his very best, he's got to be able to shoot at a minimum a corner three. The thing about the NBA game nowadays, though, is the floor is so much more spread out. Teams don't really play a ton of hard defense unless you're like the last 5 minutes of the game or you're in the playoffs. And so I think his ball handling will be, I think it's underestimated right now in a big way, where he'll be a much better playmaker in the NBA. He'll be able to take people off the dribble. But his upside is totally limited by, can you shoot a shot outside of 14 feet? Like if he doesn't develop a three ball, then the most upside for him is like Draymond Green, which we always talk about. You're like the best role player in the league, which I don't think is a great title to have. But that's like his upside if he doesn't learn how to shoot.
And here's what Dennis Walsh said, the great Dennis Walsh. And I think he's like, I watched Aaron Gordon develop a 3-point shot. And so it's like
100%. That is his like ceiling. The way that AG plays now, that is what he can become. But let's not get it twisted. AG had a tough few years to start off his career in Orlando, right? And it's like, I don't want to see that for Koa, because AG was a success story, but it could very easily not be a success story.
And it's one of those things, too, with Koa. He's probably not going to be – I mean, AG was picked in the top 5. So they're going to pour everything into him because no GM wants that on his resume that, I had a top 5 pick that didn't work out. If you're somewhere around 15 or 16, they want it to work, but they don't have necessarily – I'm not going to get fired if the 15th pick doesn't work out. I can get fired if the 4th pick doesn't work out. So, place is going to be really good for him. All right, let's get
– And the expectations are higher year one, right? Because if you're in that late, post lottery, you're talking about playoff teams. So they don't really have the time or energy to give you minutes to develop.
For sure. No doubt. Now, Kobe L. Thiel in here. The Sweet 16 merchant finally did it. Yeah, dude. Kobe L. Thiel, you're better than that. Reinvest that into air conditioning. $199. All right. Hey, we had a couple other ones in there. What are the couple other ones there, Cody? I know we had a $100 one, I think, in there. Oh, yeah. Back the A. $99.99. BTFD. All gas, no brakes. By the way, did you guys see Brent Brennan getting into that jet? Yeah. Do you think he was backing up?
I think Dennis Walsh was flying it.
Yeah, hair Lex. All right. What else we got? Are we having any other? Oh, bleh. All right. Sorry. All right. Now let's talk Braden Burries, my friends. Braden Burries is, listen, I've been waiting all season to say this, and it's somebody I have a very very soft spot in my heart for Caleb Love. I always will. I thought he got a lot of crap that he shouldn't. All of that. Braden Burries is better. Braden Burries right now as a freshman is better than Caleb Love as a senior, and I loved Caleb Love. But man, everything that he does is just smooth and good. I don't. He's fantastic.
We're gonna let you take this
Yeah. Caleb Love is what the team needed last year. They needed an alpha who could score. Was he the most efficient? No. Did he play his ass off? Did he have the big game against Duke in the tournament? Like, was he big in big moments? Did he hit the 60-footer against Iowa State? He was perfect for what the team needed. If you were to put Caleb Love on this team, they would take a significant step back because Burries is the same type of scorer that this team needs, but he's so efficient. He's so under control. He's a smarter player. He's not looking to take bad shots. He plays within the flow of the game. He allows Bradley to be aggressive when he needs to be. He allows the bigs to work when they need to be. And so I think one of the most underrated things about a scorer is, can you play in the flow of the game? Can you turn it up when you need to? Can you let others get involved? If something's working, can you defer? And I think Burries checks all those boxes, where typically if you're an elite scorer, you're going to do your thing to get your shots off no matter what. And sometimes it impacts the flow of the game for the team. I think Burries, one of his strengths is he's able to play within the flow of the game at an elite level and still get his 15 to 20 points a game.
Yeah, Tyler.
The efficiency. It's the thing that separates him from Caleb. I think that part of the problem with Caleb last year is that in some regards he had to take on Jaden Bradley's role from this year, where JB was the point guard, but in terms of the team leader, in terms of the guy that needed the ball late, we just had a lot that we put on Caleb's plate. And you knew 5 minutes into a game whether it was going to be a good Caleb night or if it was going to be a bad Caleb night. That isn't even remotely in the equation for Braden. Every time a shot goes up, I think it's going in at this point, right? And so his final stat line tonight, 23 points, 7 of 11 from the field. And one of those was a late three, or I think a couple of those were kind of like late shots in the game where it's just like, dude, I just got to get a shot up. He just plays extremely efficient. But the other thing that's so great about his game is he plays with a level of poise that you do not see out of a lot of 18-year-old guards. And we're spoiled right now because you see Darius Acuff and you see Darren Peterson, who are very poised guards. But Braden's kind of a unicorn in that regard.
Right. Now, I don't get Baba Ganoush is saying that Braden struggled and almost lost us the game today. Arizona won by 25 points, and Burries was arguably the best player on the court. So I am not going to agree with that, with all due respect.
He did get a little lost offensively, in the first part of the first half. There was a few possessions to start the game where he was getting a little bit lost, but he tightened it up after that.
Right. I'm trying to not jinx him, dude. Oh. Well, all right, whatever. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to say this though. Burries doesn't need to get his sheet. All right. Acuff then. Let's talk about Acuff. A lot of people were saying that Acuff was getting too glazed. That's the hey, when did that become such a thing? Glazing?
Last couple years.
Glazing is stupid.
As somebody who's an expert in all things millennials, it's within the last couple of years.
Yes, our resident millennial, John Brogan. Yes. Well, Tyler, when did this become a thing?
I don't know, but that's the worst take you've ever had. I think glazed is perfect. I'm shocked that glazed has gotten as publicly accepted, given what it obviously means. But I love glazed. I think that's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Well, either way, let's talk about him for a second. I think he's awesome. Like I said, I think he's really, really good. He was like I said, though, he's one thing I didn't get what Shear kept saying, though, is he kept saying that Bradley's dominating Acuff and that Acuff can't. Bradley had 11 points. So I don't really see that, but I'm going to see. But Acuff's awesome, though. He's really, really good.
I'll say this. Acuff in the first half went multiple minute stretches where I forgot he was on the court, which is not what you need if you're John Calipari. If I'm watching that game, I need to know that he's got the ball on every single possession.
Right.
I think what you saw out of Acuff tonight is the same thing that you saw when we played Superstars earlier this year. And I put a tweet out about it earlier today. But when we played at BYU, AJ had 24 points, but it was on 6 of 24 shooting. And, outside of that weird final minute where we almost blew the game, Arizona basically handled that game.
Right.
When we had BYU at home, he had 35 on 13 of 28 shooting. And it was a blowout for most of the game. And when we played, Kansas at home, Darren Peterson, 24 points, but again on 8 of 21 shooting. So what Arizona did a really good job of in this game is said, hey, look, you're going to put up 25 plus points, and we're fine with that. But we're going to limit, Trayvon Brazil. We're going to limit Billy Richmond. We're going to limit Malik Thomas, and we're going to make it tough for you to get those 19. And candidly, out of those 8, there was a few circus shots in there that he hit because he's just that damn good. But, this is kind of what we see when Tommy has to game plan against a really elite player.
Yeah, Brogan.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this. Arizona's game plan on Acuff was pretty clear.
Yeah.
It was he's not going to score 30 points and have 8, 9, 10 assists. He's going to get points, great. We're going to help with bigs to try to make it difficult, but we're not going to help off Thomas. We're not going to let Brazil shoot set shot threes. We're not going to let Richmond get running. And so you saw Acuff end with 2 assists. And again, 8 for 19 or whatever, he got to the free throw line. But the path for Arkansas to win was him having a crazy game, not him scoring 10, 12, 14 points in the last 10 minutes of the game when we're up 20, a bunch of free throws late in the game and things of that nature. Like, he had to be aggressive early, and he needed to have like a 20-point first half and get it rolling to where it's like now Arizona has to adjust. Arizona never had to adjust their defense. And what I think was kind of interesting about this game is in the first half, Arizona had a couple plays where they would screen and roll. Burries would come off his guy to pick up Acuff off the screen. Bradley would then recover to Burries' guy, and then the big would stay in the middle and kind of float. So you see Arizona had a game plan for Acuff. They just never really had to get to it because the game never demanded it because Arkansas was down pretty much 10 right away, and then it was 10-30, bouncing back and forth. But you knew what their game plan was. Don't let him get everybody involved and score 30. If he scores 30, great. But if he has 2 assists, we're going to blow him out.
And that's exactly what happened. I mean, he finished with 28 points on 8 of 17 or whatever, but they didn't have anything, or he didn't have anything else. I'm going to say this too, and there's a couple comments in here. The fact that team is so that team is so bad defensively is absolutely crazy to me. You've got athletes across the board. You've got 3 dudes on the perimeter that are going to play in the MNBA. Pringle, who I didn't even know played this year, was good. They've got talent. The fact they are so bad defensively is crazy.
Well, because defense requires discipline and effort. And that is not what you're going to get out of a John Calipari created team, right? We saw the second that the wheels started to fall off, they completely fell off. And that's not when you look at somebody like Yvonne, right? Or you look at somebody like JB. The reason they're so good defensively is because they're willing to stay disciplined in the game, and they might get beat a couple times, and they're not the most athletic people in the country, but they're going to stick to their system, and they're going to play with a level of effort and intensity that you're just not going to get when you have guys that are bouncing balls off the court, shoving Yvonne into the bleachers, the coach is getting teed up. Like, it's just never going to be in the cards.
Oh, by the way, we have an Arkansas fan in here with a very nice remark. He is saying screw Arizona. Well, Arkansas country boy, have fun back in the country. The Deliverance is going to probably be on tonight. Check that one out and let us know how it works. So best of luck, buddy. Okay, now getting back to that. The Deliverance was on TV the other day, so now I can just keep thinking about Arkansas. But very scary movie, by the way. But it's so funny how Cal gets crap for dirty plays, but Izzo gets no hate for having the dirtiest player. The thing with Calipari though is he's just not a very good coach. Like that's the best. You look at Tom Izzo's teams, and I think squeal like a pig there, Arkansas. yeah, have fun back there, buddy. You look at Tom Izzo's teams. You look at Tommy Lloyd's teams, all of these. I'm going to say this, that they get the most out of their players. I look at Michigan State right now. They got maybe 1 or 2 NBA guys. But guess what? They're a top 10 team in the country. It is what it is. You look at Arkansas, and they're more of what, a top 25 team, and you got what, possibly 3 first-round picks on the perimeter itself. That to me is the biggest indictment on coaching possible.
Yeah, I think if you to simplify this, if you were to take Tommy, Dusty May, or Shire, right, the three number 1 seeds, if you were to give them Arkansas's roster, they'd have a top 50 defense at a minimum, if not better. So to me, this is 100% coaching from a defensive standpoint, because you clearly have length, you have athleticism, you have size, you have NBA players, so you have talent. The fact that you don't even try on defense is coaching. Like, these kids didn't grow up only playing on half the court, right? And so playing defense is part of what they grew up playing. You just have chosen a style that says, we'd rather you just not foul and get out of people's ways and maybe attempt to block a shot or two, and we'll take our chances. The problem is when you play somebody elite like Arizona, who's going to throw the ball inside and shoot 8 threes for the game, they score 100 points on layups and dunks and free throws. And that's just how the game goes.
Tyler?
Yeah. Yeah, like when I think of Rick Pitino, the first word that comes to mind is tough, right? I know that any Rick Pitino-led team is going to be tough. I don't really mind if you're, quote unquote, dirty by being tough, right? Like Rick Pitino is the bad boys Pistons. John Calipari wants to be the 8 seconds or less Phoenix Suns, and it's just different styles of kind of coaching and play. But one of them is far more effective, in my opinion. And I think that's why Rick Pitino is, clearly a better coach than John Calipari.
Yeah, listen. All right, so we'll get to that. Now let's start looking ahead a little bit to Purdue. Hey, by the way, Stut Joe, I'm going to be making some race references here coming up. So again, put the earplugs in, put the kids away for a little while, whatever the case may be. If you're in Arkansas, put the pig away for a little bit if you're going to be listening. Let's get to a couple reads though. What do we got? All right, guys, front pipe, talk to me. Now, real quick, we got an Arkansas fan in here, and I can guarantee you his front pipe isn't used to the same kind of service that your guys' front pipes are. That's for sure. Brogan, Tyler, front pipe, talk to me. How's it going? How's it working?
It's working great. I think that Arkansas front pipe is probably that's a family business there.
Brogan, front pipe it's not a you're keeping it all in the family.
No, that's reserved for the Arkansas country.
Right. I was going to say for the furnace.
Yeah, that too. Not for the family, for the furnace.
Yes. Well, I'm glad. Hello, Jessica. So, all right. Yeah. Foster Plumbing, though. Residential and commercial. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Sewer line coating, point repairs, water heaters, drain cleaning, sewer inspections, gas heater, 24/7 service. Boom. Check it out. Call 520-603-3817. Danny Foster is the man. Arkansas Country Boy is back in here, and he was saying that the front pipe only gets excited for the pigs in the field. Yikes. Well, you know what? Try humans. Okay, residential and commercial.
Pig suey, right?
Yeah, pig suey, baby. All right, check it out. 24/7. Danny Foster's the man. 88 crime. Now, if you see somebody doing something, if you see somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing, I'm gonna say this: you're with, like I said, you're not allowed. Arkansas guy, you're not allowed to be doing some of the stuff that we know that you're doing in Tucson. That gets 88 crime called on you. 88 crime, 882-7463. It's anonymous. Pima County Attorney's Office, 88crime.org. Check it out. Boom.
File a missing persons report on Arkansas's defense.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, we got Land the man with the master plan in here. Brogan, Bishop Brogan, or the Bishop, or Bishop Brogan, can you please talk to Elder Allen about the virtues of being, listen, the championship package is absolutely amazing. It's fantastic. I've had it inserted in and it's been absolutely amazing. It was so good, it put me to sleep. My mom loves Lan Allen, but this woman is not real, John Brogan. What is Bishop Brogan going to say to Elder Allen?
We already talked about this. Thou shalt not lie.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Now, you know what? We're going to have to take back a few of those Thatcher State titles. But take that. All right. But either way, check it out, though. Awesome. Daily urgent care Monday through Friday. And again, 1997. You don't have to go to Arkansas to find some cheap solution where they're just going to put some tree bark into your and, slap you on the butt and say, yeah, you're good to go. There's not going to be any of that.
The wooden teeth.
Yeah. They're not going to take your wooden teeth out or anything. Mike, it's Prophet. Hey, Prophet John Brogan? Have you been elevated to Prophet or just Bishop?
Just
Prophet.
We'll save Prophet for later.
Yes, okay. Yeah. He hasn't graduated to that yet. Either way, daily urgent care Monday through Friday. You see other people trying to replicate it, but guess what? Nothing can be replicated because there is only one, the man with the freaking master plan. Check it out. Boom. All right, now let's talk Purdue. All right. Hey, dude. Hey, Arkansas country, but it's actually fun making fun of this guy. You're calling us crybabies. You're the one in here crying, dude. We're making fun of you. So please, if you want to stick around as a pinata, by all means. All right, let's talk about Purdue. Purdue is very good. First of all, I got to give Sean Miller a ton of credit. That Texas team is not as good as Purdue, and they had him there until the very last play of the game. Miller drastically overachieved. You got to give him all the credit in the world there. Arizona is going to be playing Purdue. I'm going to say this. The one thing about Purdue is that Purdue has nowhere near the size, strength, girth, and athleticism that Arizona does, period. And we'll go backwards from there. Arizona is a physically far more imposing team.
Yeah, I think as a fan base, the 5 days off was a little rough for us because it allowed us to let our minds go a little bit wild, and we turned Arkansas into, the Wizard of Oz or something, and like they were the best team in the country before tip-off, right? I want to set the expectation now. Purdue is not the Purdue of 2 years ago, right? This team is a materially different team. This is a team that lost 8 out of their last 13 games during the regular season. This is a team that does not have a front court threat like they had with Zach Edey, and they're going to be relying on Oscar Clough to be that type of a presence. They do have Braden Smith. They do have Trey Kaufman-Renn, which we've known for years about now. But this is a materially different team. Now, the thing that scares me every single time it seems like we get to the Elite Eight. They are going to want to play slow white boy basketball. They are going to be these, they're 325th in average tempo nationally, right? And they're an extremely efficient offense. They are going to want to pass the ball around. They're going to play very smart. And this is the type of team where if, you're up 20 like you are tonight, they're going to fight and scratch and claw their way back. But this is not, from a talent perspective, the same.
Real quick, somebody, I didn't realize this. I thought it was a joke. John Calipari said they had too much girth for us in the press conference. Can somebody get me this clip right now? Please, I beg of you. Please get me this clip of John Calipari talking about girth. I will, Wilbur's Big Burner, make yourself useful. Go do this right now. Thank you. Okay.
I was going to break that news, but you were in an ad read, and I was like, I don't want to get too excited.
Dude, the fact John Calipari is now talking about girth is...
I got to give you credit, Mike. Honest to God, the girth movement started here on AZ12, and it is spreading like COVID-19. It is incredible.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you got commentators and coaches saying it now. I mean, Brogan, you're a man of girth. What do you think about it?
I give you credit. I think Torres helped you pour a little gas on it.
Yeah.
And now it's going crazy. But the thing is, it's the perfect word to describe Arizona because they're just big, physical, and they just beat people up in the paint.
Right.
Like, if you watch, it's hard to just not want to watch the ball. But if you just pay attention to Krivas, he's pushing people around on every possession. And so you don't get to take a possession off between him and Awaka and Koa. And so it's the perfect word because of Arizona's physicality to describe it. You're not going to say they're big and physical. That doesn't do it justice because lots of teams are that. But they just beat teams up, and they're going to continue to do it.
And that's what, all right. So let's go position by position then. Braden Smith is obviously a very, very good player. There's no doubt about it. Michigan wins it all anyways. You guys know it. Arkansas country boy, you were feeding into every single stereotype that we were making fun of you for. Thank you. Braden Smith is really, really good. Braden Smith is not the kind of guy that worries me, though, in that he's going to get numbers. He can control the game to a certain extent. I get all of that, but he's still going to have 13-9, 12-10, something like that. It's not like he's going to take the team on his back. I think JB matches up with him just fine.
Yeah, if you look at Braden Smith in March throughout his career, he's notoriously average against good teams in March.
Right.
He had if you watch the Houston game last year, you understand his impact because he had 15 assists and he was making plays at the end of the game to keep them in it. All passes though, but he doesn't score against good teams in March. That's historically he'll have a 12-10 game. He'll have a 7-15 game. And so for him, he's the engine that makes him go. For him, what I worry about is, does he draw fouls? Does he get bigs in foul trouble because he's creative with all the pump fakes and all those things? But he's not going to put up 25 or 30 points in a game. Could he have 10 assists? Sure. But again, their tempo limits his ability to put up monster numbers. So as long as he's not having a 10 to 15 assist game with their tempo, he's definitely, again, he makes them go, but he's not somebody like Acuff where you're like, we got a game plan against him fully,
Right. Yeah. What do you got there, Mr. Tyler Warden?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more.
Keep talking. His power rate. I'm very thirsty. Keep going.
Yeah, no, you're good. His superpower is that he controls an offensive half-court set unlike 95% of guards in the country. He's kind of like a less athletic Jeremiah Fears in that regard that he is just a pass-first true kind of point guard. That works when you have guys like Fletcher Lawyer hitting and when CJ Cox is, if he is playing well, him playing well, and you're able to kind of establish a more kind of traditional pick and roll offense. But he doesn't scare me in the way that somebody like Emmanuel Sharp does, right? Because Emmanuel Sharp can go off for 20 and Taman Lipsey can go off for 20, but I don't see, Braden Smith going off for 20 against JB. And more importantly, I think JB is going to be able to take advantage of him.
Now, let me ask you guys this. These are all domestic whites as well that we're going to be playing against. These aren't international whites. So that's a different kind of white man. When you're playing the domestic white, you're going to almost always deal with a certain amount of lack of athleticism. I know it is what it is. I know if somebody might be upset about it. Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith, a very, very unathletic perimeter. But I'm going to say this, though. Fletcher Lawyer, though, is one guy that you cannot lose. You cannot let him, because he can pull that John Brogan thing and he can make 7, 8, 9 threes in about John Brogan's probably the best shooter in the city, Mr. Tyler Warden. And if he's not, he's very, very good. Used to be. But I also dropped 28 points on him, though, one time.
In a loss.
But I did.
You doing a pop a shot?
No, I dropped 28 points. Yeah.
I'll say this. Okay. I want everyone to kind of cover their ears for a second. If there is a Sam Decker on this team, it is going to be Fletcher Lawyer. Yeah. Right. If there is a Momcilovic on this team, it's Fletcher Lawyer. Right. He is the guy that can go off and hit 8 threes and completely change the complexion of a game. With that said, I like how we handled Momcilovic this year. I like how we handled Richie Saunders in the first meeting this year. So I'm not as worried about it.
By the way, Joseph, Brogan confirmed it. Settle down. Nice try. Okay. Am I banned from Super Snaps? No, you're not banned from Super Snaps. Yes. Hey, also, TLN says Mike making all the white jokes is going to jinx us. I've been making white jokes all season, man. It hasn't done anything yet. So, but Tyler Warden hits the nail on the head as usual, Mr. John Brogan, and that Fletcher Lawyer is the one dude that you're like, all right, well, we don't need 6'4" Sam Decker over there.
Yeah, and I think when I look at the game in general, Lawyer's the one guy who can make a bunch of shots. They're going to be threes, but they add up in a hurry. I'm not super worried about Kaufman-Wren. I think one thing that's super underrated about Koa is there's been times this year, you saw it tonight a little bit, where guys get the ball and they just try to back him down. He holds his ground without fouling better than Tobe, better than Krivas. Like, you're not just going to back him out of the way and get easy shots up. But Kaufman-Wren's going to have to deal with that strength from Koa, then that strength from Awaka, and his whole game is predicated on little flip shots and bully ball. which doesn't work against Arizona. Clough's not an elite shot blocker, and CJ Cox plays the three. Between him and Lawyer, they're both 6'3" ish, 6'4". Like, they're not a huge team. I just don't know what they do better than Arizona outside of we're going to take the air out of the ball and try to keep it close and make plays late. But Arizona's shown this entire season that we can win a game in the 60s. We can win a game in the 100s. We can shoot free throws. We can make threes. We can get points in the paint. Purdue doesn't have that many paths to victory, just like Arkansas didn't. Their path is keep the game slow, make threes, and be lucky at the end of the game, essentially.
Yeah. And, and I think that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, and, these are below the rim guys. Like I said, Clough is very, very good, but I feel very comfortable with Krivas on him.
Coach's College Clough.
Yeah. Coach's College Clough. It's a great name, too. Oscar Clough.
But Clough is like a poor man's Krivas, right?
Yeah.
And Trey Kaufman-Renn is kind of like a poor man's Koa.
Right.
And CJ Cox against Braden Burries.
Right.
Like, I look, 1 through 5 across the court. I'm not as nervous as I was against Arkansas, because I see, Arkansas, it's like you can shoot and you can get hot and you can go crazy. But Purdue, it's like, as long as there's more than, 60 possessions in this game, this should work out in Arizona's favor.
Right.
Now, again, knock on wood, we got to win. But,
that was hyperbole. I apologize. Need down. He's not really, really good, but he is good. Clough is good. It's okay to admit Clough is good. It's not like he's great, but Clough is good. Okay. Now, Smith peed himself a little after watching the Arizona finish. I just don't see their path to victory it's a little bit, we talked about it before. Their path to victory is somewhat slim in that they've got to make a lot of threes, and they've got to have Arizona's good. They need Arizona to turn the ball over. They need Arizona to do a lot of different things that, generally hasn't been the case this year. I think Arizona matches up very well with them, fellas.
Well, and I think what you can expect in this game is you're going to expect Ivan to give Lawyer the Caravan and the first Momcilovic treatment, where he's going to be chest to chest, not a ton of help, and just chasing him all over the floor to where every shot is lengthy, 6'7", long arms. And you saw what he did to Caravan. Caravan was terrible in that first UConn game, and in the first Iowa State game, Momcilovic scored, was 1 for 9 from 3 or whatever he was. So I think Lawyer's smaller than them, not as athletic, can't get his shot off quite as easy as them. So I think Ivan's a great matchup there for him. And so I think you're going to see a lot of that. It allows, Jaden can stay on Braden Smith. That's a pretty straightforward matchup. Burries on Cox is pretty straightforward. The rest of them are easy. That'll be the one where Arizona can put a lot of length on Lawyer, which, hopefully that'll.
This is an interesting question by Eduardo. I am going to count an Australian as a domestic white. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm going to count him as a domestic white. To me, it's different than a
European.
Yeah, than an old Soviet bloc or
it's Soviet. Foreign is Soviet.
White Russia, all that stuff's internet. This is, but Thunder from Down Under folks are they're domestic whites.
But Mike, I'll say this about Oscar Clough. If it's not for the fact that Hepatitis got that fourth foul with about 8 minutes left in the game, and Oscar Clough, they just fed it down low and there was no way to stop him, we're playing Texas on Saturday, right? So, let me put it this way. He is Ken Palm's second highest rated offensive player in the nation. And that tells you why analytics is terrible.
Clough
is the second. He has the second highest offensive rating on Ken Palm across the entire country. He is not that type of guy, right? And when you're backing down a 6'8" forward that's having to play emergency minutes at the 5 because Hepatitis picked up his fourth, right? It's going to be a lot different than when you're trying to back down, Tobe Awaka and Mo Krivas. And the shot disrupting ability of Mo and Tobe and Koa, for that matter, too, is one of the things that's really going to kind of kneecap Braden Smith in terms of his game, because so much of what he does is offensively is trying to get to the rack.
Yeah, and
in fairness to analytics, he does shoot 70% from the field.
That's fine.
When you shoot 70% of the field, you're going to be a highly rated analytical offensive player. You know what I mean?
I get it, but that's also where I guarantee you somebody on the board like Fried Rice is going to try to say, though, that he's one of the best players in the country just because of something like that.
Well, and he averages 11 points a game, not 2. So it's like if you're 2 points a game at 70%, okay, that's different. But his strength is being a skilled big man, which is what Arizona like. We're good against that. Arizona athleticism is what gives Arizona trouble. You saw that tonight a little bit in the paint early in the game, but you're not just going to throw it to Clough on the block and let him go ISO against Krivas. You're not going to win that battle. So that he's not.
Have fun with that. Like I said, if you want to give it to Clough or like I said, as good as hepatitis isn't Krivas at this point. Do you think Krivas ever had? I don't want to ask that question.
And here's one more thing too. Like you look at the front court and it's Trakoff and Ren and it's Oscar Clough, right? You know what they're combined on the season from 3-point range? 2 of 13, and that's entirely Trakoff and Ren, right? So it's like you're not going to get this front court that's stretching Mo and Tobe out to the perimeter. So they're going to be able to kind of sink down in the paint and say, all right, try to drive it on us, right? Now, what I think they are going to do a really good job of is they are going to be moving off the ball more than any team that we'll face all year, right? And Yvonne's going to be running. He's going to run 10 miles in that game, trying to chase Fletcher Lawyer through double screens and through elevator screens and all that. But like the things that give Arizona troubles in the front court are not the things that they have as a team.
Yeah, they will. Clough will be setting a whole bunch of screens for Lawyer to run off and shoot threes. So I don't know that we're going to see Krivas just sit in the paint like he has in other games, because I don't think you want to have Lawyer chasing chasing through screens like that. But you're right. If Lawyer's ever out of the game, Krivas will stand 2 feet in front of the basket, and they won't be able to get any shots inside 6 feet, which is what Arizona's done probably 7 or 8 times this year. And so, again, when you come back to Purdue's paths to victory, it's keep the score in the 50s or 60s, which against Arizona, only a couple of elite teams have done that, Florida, UCLA, whatever. Or Lawyer's got to drop 25 and hit 8 threes, which, again, he's still a 6'4" white guy running around shooting threes.
Here's what I don't get. Arizona Sports 1222 seems to be very concerned about me, and he keeps telling me that I need to go home because I am drunk. I've had nothing to drink and I am at home. So I guess maybe give me something else then if you can. I don't know how else to put that one. Okay, now let's get some reads in here. Then we're gonna go around. All right, we'll talk about the Tommy Lloyd situation here coming up. So all right, let's get some. Boom. All right, but first, Andre Veras, the Gladiator. He was there, and again, this guy is fantastic, but that is not an endorsement. It is not an endorsement. But that doesn't mean that we will not highly recommend the Gladiator. Confused about your employer's 401k and how it actually works? We'll walk you through your plan together, how the match works, what investment options are available, and how to choose a simple allocation. Not sure whether you should be contributing to a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, or just your 401k? Check it out. Boom. Call Andre at 520-325-3456. And to learn more and reference the AZ12 podcast. Boom. All right. Now, check it out.
Two-pack. Repack.
Oh, crap. Man, seriously. Yeah, Cody, what's going on? You're thinking about that I'm drinking. Talk to the guy behind the gadgets. All right, check it out. Comfort X HVAC. Kobe L. Thiel's in here, and Kobe L. Thiel is supposedly drunk right now. Hey, guys, you know what would be the lamest thing in the world? To be drunk at your house, and it's 185 degrees, and you're sweating your balls off because you don't have AC. That would suck.
Boycotting AC is definitely not a smart thing to do in Arizona.
Do not boycott AC. Tyler Warden, if you came home and you told the missus and said, listen, we need to cut some bills. We need to cut some costs. We're getting rid of air conditioning. Would she stay with you?
Let's just say I wouldn't have any use for the front pipe.
Okay. Yes. All right. Fair enough. Kobe. Yeah, that was really, really good. Go ahead and get air conditioning, Kobe Thiel. We can get you set up with that. Trusted by homeowners, businesses, and builders. Call 520-222-7012 or book online at comfortxhvac.com. Get in there right now. Boom. All right, red hot beer and ice cold sports, baby. RJ's Frozen Cactus. Huge parking lot. You can park a jet in there. No bad seats in the house. Pizza, wings, taco, burgers, and more. And again, you go in there and, like I said, it's the food in there is good. It's good bar food. You're not going to have to go in there and, what? Sometimes you go into a bar, and Brogan, you don't drink, so you wouldn't know. But if you go into like a bar and there's like bar food in there, but it's like a salty pretzel that sounds like it's been in, or tastes like it's been in an armpit or something. They don't have any of that. It is fresh food. You go in there and starch yourself, get some good food, and like I said, 100 craft beers, $2 deals, pizza, wings, tacos, burgers, and more. Boom, check it out. Very good food. All right, now we'll get back to the game here in a second. Here is all I am going to say about the DRF Tommy Lloyd thing, because we got to talk about it, but it's just going to be brief. The most important, in my opinion, the most important employee at the University of Arizona is Tommy Lloyd. Now, you could say the president, or there's probably some professor emeritus, or I don't know, I care. But this is Lute Olson made to Arizona what it is. He's the most invaluable person as far as bringing revenue in. Tommy Lloyd is that guy. We need to, by any means necessary, Tommy Lloyd needs to be here. Whatever it takes to make Tommy Lloyd happy. We have a winner. We have a keeper. We have a guy that we can win national titles with. It's one of those things. If something turns into a power struggle or whatever, I'm going with the Tommy gun. And it's nothing personal. I'm not making any. I'm just saying this man's value is very important. That's all.
Yeah. Here's what I think is. I think if Arizona beats Purdue, when Arizona beats Purdue, and they make the Final Four, then you force everybody's hand at that point, because this will be the first Final Four in 25 years, right, since 01. And Tommy will be not Lute, but he'll be blow past Sean Miller, and he'll be approaching Lute status, especially if he wins a title really fast, because he's the fastest person to 5 wins, blah, 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 all the things in the tournament wins, all those things. And so in a weird way, it makes him more appealing for North Carolina, but it also forces Arizona's hand to where you can't risk getting rid of Tommy Lloyd or losing Tommy Lloyd and having to rehire. And then who knows what happens? Your whole roster implodes, funding implodes, a whole bunch of things happen. So we should all hope Arizona beats Purdue for a bunch of different reasons, but one of them is it starts to force people's hands on Tommy becomes too valuable to lose at that point.
Tyler?
Yeah. Look, Tommy Lloyd is the highest paid public employee in the state of Arizona for a reason. Mm-hmm. The president might not know what a basketball is because he's more of a nerdy type, which, good for you. You're a university president, but he does know who his highest paid employee is, right? And he knows the economic engine that Arizona basketball is, right?
Right.
Don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I can say pretty clearly that whatever needs to happen, everyone is going to bend the knee to whatever Tommy needs to make happen, especially if we win on Saturday. Right now, if you want to straight line out what is the absolute worst case scenario, the worst case scenario is that, we lose on Saturday and they try to make it work and then it doesn't work. And then the president, doesn't have his, support him or whatever. And things fall apart. There's 100% there is a world where those dominoes fall in that way, right?
Right.
But I'm betting house on it not happening.
And I think, Mike, one thing I think you'll definitely agree with is this is far less about money and much more about a bunch of other things. Right. Tommy's not leveraging North Carolina for a raise. Will he get a raise out of it? Maybe, but that's not his primary thing here. So the money will always work itself out. Arizona's got plenty of people lining up with money. That's not an issue.
The one thing, though, that Tyler kind of hit, and Brogan and I had talked about as well, is that this is also a different time in athletics. This is different than 10 or 15 years ago. 10 or 15 years ago, Michael Crow can basically say, you know what? I don't care about basketball. I don't care about football. If somebody shows up to the game, cool. If not, I don't give a crap either. It doesn't matter to me. That's why their basketball looks the way it is. That's why they were basically in purgatory forever. It's different now, though. When by the land, the man with the master plan knows what's going on. I'm going to say this, though. It's different now. Michael Crow is probably not bending over backwards to Kenny, your guy, Kenny Dillingham, Tyler Warden. He's probably not bending over backwards to him for, 10, 12 years ago, the way he is now. Things have changed with NIL, with money, with the it's just a different game. So a president can be an all-time dweeb, but they still can't ignore athletics the way that maybe they could have 15 years ago.
Yeah, and like, go ahead, Brogan.
The other thing on that is, I can't remember who made this point. I think it was Jamal Mashburn on one of the shows. Basketball's different now. 10, 15 years ago, it was all about the brand. It was all about the backdoor funding and support. And could you get Jordan money? Could you get Nike deals and all of those things? Now, if you have money, you can get coaches, you can get players. Yeah. And so, yes, North Carolina is an elite job. It's one of the 3 elite jobs in the country. But that gap between Arizona and North Carolina is definitely shrunk because Arizona is a highly funded athletic program.
Right.
Let's also not forget that Tommy Lloyd makes $2 million more than Hubert Davis did.
Yes. Right.
So North Carolina is not Arkansas, where they're going to pay their head coach $10 million and give him $14 million in NIL because they've got a billionaire donor. UNC's got funding and money. They're not broke, but they're not Arkansas. They're not Duke. They're not Texas. So Arizona, from a money standpoint, they're good. Funding, they're good.
Brogan just hit the nail on the head with why I think that the UNC thing is not really even in play. And that is, they are going to have to pay out Hubert Davis's buyout. They're going to have to pay out Tommy Lloyd's buyout. They're going to have to give a $2 million a year plus, probably closer to $3 million a year plus salary increase. You're going to have the coaches pool. You're going to have a $14, $15, $20 million NIL roster you got to put together. And you're doing this on the back of Bill Belichick blowing up your football program, right? Yeah. I get that money comes out of the woodwork, right? And I get it, but I don't think that Tommy necessarily has the cachet nationally to where UNC fans are going to pony up the money to bring him in, right? It's not like this is a John Calipari situation. Right? It's not like Bill Self became available, right? There's a decent amount of good options out there between TJ, Otzelberger and Todd Golden and Nate Oates of the world. Like, I think there's enough that, like, that's not really in play. The Kansas one does make me a little bit nervous, right? Because they were paying him $8 million a year and they're not going to have a buyout and they're going to have a little bit more flexibility. But the last thing I'll kind of say on the matter is, like, at the end of the day, I think DRF has done a lot of really good things for this program. And I think that she has, locked up Brent Brennan to a long-term contract. She's locked up Chish Pale. She's locked up Tommy Lloyd. She's made the renovations. She's gotten the budget together. There have been accomplishments that's been done, that I think are worth applauding. If push comes to shove, it is unequivocal who the Arizona community is going to support, who the fan base is going to support, and who's the person that kind of deserves to stay. If it really came down to a Tommy versus DRF situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's really that simple. So, all right, let's get a couple reads in here, and then we are going to get back to this game because we have some things to wrap up. All right, Copal, everybody. Yummy, yummy. Now, we talked about the guys, Mike Luke, elote ribs. What comes to mind first when you're inhaling a free Mike Luke elote rib? What do you think about, Tyler Warden?
Front pipe.
Oh, I like that. Oh, some cross promotion. I like it.
Mike Luke's front pipe? Wow.
John Brogan, you've always wanted to inhale a Mike Luke elote rib.
I will not touch any of Mike Luke's ribs for any reason ever, much less eat them. Copal, I might try, but Mike Luke's ribs, I'll pass.
All right. Either way, Copal is very, very good. Yummy, yummy in the Copal tummy. Mexican food delivered nationwide at mymexicanmenu.com. Use code AZ12 for 10% off your order. Book your next large party or corporate event with Copal. Again, they cater any event. And Big 12 Bobby was there, and he has a very refined palate. And he liked Copal a lot. Tucson's contemporary Mexican food, CopalTucson.com.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Floor is yours. That's awesome. Brogan, one more time. Come on, do it. Come on. Welcome to the Rock, Green Valley Decorative Rock. We see our guy Mike Natowski in here, and he is the man. Go there and get some rock, baby. Go there and get some rock. Let's see here. Storm Briscoe. I always wonder how Mike will one-up it with each show. That's what I'm going to try to do. TJ Van Martyr, Mike, my youngest daughter loves your static. Yeah. Get in line there. Tell her that. But either way, east to Benson, Sierra Vista, Brogan's neck of the wood, Benson, west to Marana, south to Nogales, north to Oracle. And to see what's really, really cool about it, Dennis Walsh has actually gone there and taken a picture of Green Valley Decorative Rock with his girth license plate. We cannot make this up. It is awesome. It is awesome. Now, the other thing about it is, let's see, 2 convenient locations, 50 plus locally sourced landscape and materials, serving residents and contractors. Mike went to Flowing Wells. We won't hold that against him because he's one of the good ones that made it out of there. But again, get with Green Valley Decorative Rock. It is, and again, there's a lot of idiots out there that believe that it, or not a lot of idiots, because they're all on the run now. They've been compromised. But there are a few people out there that are still stragglers holding out hope that they can trick people into believing that it's in Green Valley. Guys, it's not just in Green Valley. This is true. It's in Tucson. Come on. We need to cut through the crap. Come on.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. Okay. It is. It is what it is. Yeah. All right. Look at my mom. My mom she's talking about Tyler Warden. You're all rock solid. Janet with a mom.
I think Brogan too.
Yeah.
Got a little sandwich going here.
Yeah, millennial John Brogan, and we got that man with the best hair in the game, and Tyler Warden. Look at this. Look at this horn dog in the chat right here. She's been married 46 years, but who knows? I mean, I don't know, man. Who knows? So, all right, Tyler Warden, you have some. Talking about my mom like that. All right, Tyler Warden. This is a really, really cool thing here. Tyler Warden, you are fantastic. Talk about this a little bit, Tyler Warden. Omni League, what is this?
Yeah, so I'm very excited to be talking about this. This is an app that I've been developing for the better part of 4 years now. The idea behind Omni League is it is fantasy sports, but instead of drafting players, you're drafting teams across every major sport. So you can create a league with your friends, you can draft live, the same thing that you could do with fantasy football, but instead of having to wait for football season to come around and setting your lineup every single week, you have one draft. You pick those teams throughout the whole year, and then based off of how they do in real life, that's how you get points. Shout out to Polymarket and Betting Odds because they help power live standings. So you can, check out after a big Arizona win like this. I haven't checked the app yet, but I'm sure that, Arizona's odds have skyrocketed. And, I'm going to move up a couple places against some of my friends in those leagues. But this has been a really exciting project that I've been working on. It is, I'm kind of doing an exclusive early access window specifically for Arizona Wildcats fans. Cody, James Martin behind the mic and I have created a league. If anybody wants in, we're more than happy to get you guys in the league. But you can go on to the App Store or Google Play right now. You can download it. You can start playing with your friends. And when we get to Indianapolis, I'm going to have a massive public launch with a lot of, kind of marketing behind it. So just a really exciting project that is going to be officially launching here Monday.
All right, so for a technological idiot like myself, and I say idiot, actually, I'm probably giving myself too much credit. John Brogan knows what an idiot I am when it comes to technology. This is true, John Brogan.
Very true. Very true.
Yes. One time there was a remote that I was having a little malfunction that I drove to Brogan's and he had to fix, but it we won't go into the details. It wasn't good though. Okay, but Tyler Warden, so they can get this download at the App Store or get it on Google Play. This is true. Oh, this is true, correct?
Yeah, go into the App Store, search Omni League. It's all one word. It's the first thing that pops up. You can download it there, create an account. You can invite your friends, have multiple leagues. There's cool RSS news feed. So it's kind of it's become my one-stop shop to get all of the news because our Twitter feeds get crazy sometimes. So it gets me all the major news from all the the major sports. And the cool thing about it too is I made it customizable. So let's say you're not a fan of soccer and you don't want to have the MLS or the English Premier League in there, but you're a big golf guy, so you can have the PJ Tour in there. So it's a work in progress. Like I said, it's launch on Monday, but if you just go to the App Store, search Omni League, it should pop up. And on Monday, I'm going to have a pretty big marketing campaign, so you'll be seeing it on my Twitter account too.
Yeah, all right. That is very, very cool. We like it. Yes. Will it keep Mike logged in or really have to log in every other time? No, yeah, better keep me logged in when I get this, though, Tyler Warden. I don't want to get logged in and have to keep logging myself back in or logged in.
So you can just hit save password and it will just do your facial recognition. So Jason might have to teach you that one. That might be a little too advanced for you.
You know how many women probably have my facial recognition as their screensaver?
Bruce will be able to unlock your phone.
Bruce will be able to unlock my phone. My Bruce. Yeah, be nice. Hashtag my Bruce. Yes, we got some great pictures of Bruce today by some of the folks. Yes. All right, let's get these super snaps in here though. We got 35 of them. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break them up. 12, 12, 12, or 12, 12, 12. Yeah. But 12, 12, 11. My math sucks. All right, what do we got here? Cody James Martin, talk to me. What do we got? Talk to me. All right. Vegas Falcon, $100. Suck it, Calipari. Go Cats, Elite 8 pound. Love the great Vegas Falcon. Yeah. All right, Lee Ferris, another all-time great. $49.99. That was fun. Oh, yes, very nice. Yes. Bear Down J, $49.99. BTFD, the girth of all girth. Woohoo! Yes. All right, what else we got? OC Bodybuilders, $9.99. Elite 8 pound. BTFD, I love this team. Yeah, appreciate you. All right. Eddie Lynn, $20. Tobe is an absolute monster. BTA, BTFD. Appreciate you, Eddie. You are a boss. Glad Rock, 4330. $10. Front pipe is spectacular. 2-night BTFD. You work that thing, man. Make sure that thing's working all night. All right. M Strom, 2800. $49.99. 3 down, final 4. Next. LFG. Woohoo! Bear Down J, $19.99. Another 20. Screw it. Tommy ain't going anywhere. I love your mentality there, Bear Down J. TMCCAW on 21, $5. Purdue really makes me nervous. Experienced white guys, domestic white guys who can ball and can make you play their game. Feels like 2014 all over again. Be nice. We will not allow this to be said. Okay, now, climbed out of the dirt, Bear Down. Lance, $2911, $5, my friends. Fatherless gay Ted. Is this something I'm missing? Is there like a...
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out who that picture is.
Well, either way, I like it. And as long as it doesn't say fatherless gay Ted Wardo. $2 super snap, though. Bear Down, you guys run a great show. You are the man, fatherless gay Ted. Wilbur's Big Burner, we deserve this. Wilbur's Big Burner, you deserve this. Now, give me that clip, though. Jeremiah Dibble, Cal sucks. Purdue is going to get obliterated. This team is a wrecking ball. Pay for Mike's flight. Woohoo! All right, Tyler Warden, you take the reign. Oh, hold on real quick. Stone Cold Munchkin is a great name. I just wanted to get that one in. $25. Very much appreciate you. All right, you're good.
Bear Down J, $19.99 super chat. Well, now that we're paying for Mike's flight, we might as well pay for his hotel stay. Holden 2 Dicks, 97. $1.99 super chat. BTFD. BAB 5983 $9.99 super chat. Bear Down, baby, let's go. I just hope the refs don't fall for Kopp and Wren's antics this next game like they did against Texas. Absolutely terrible. Mm-hmm. Angel Chavez $9.99. Thank you very much. Andre Veras $19.99. Tough night for the Spacers crowd tonight.
Yeah, very tough night. Very nice.
Bear Down J, $9.99. For Drake being a fool and Zona winning the championship, will Locked On Big 12 finally talk about the school that went 9-3 in football and number 1 in basketball?
No
There's
chance.
a case to be made. We are the best program.
We are the best.
In the Big 12, there's a very real case there.
Yeah.
Jesse Bridges, $5. Shout out to my daughter, Allie, for watching the game with me. Shout out, Allie. Mm-hmm. The Gladrock, $43.30, $5 super chat. Now we can root for Papa Patino tomorrow night with a smile. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I'm at. I'll do 2 more. Back the A Ray, $5. Paying for Mike's Anthony Del Taco. Max Swank, $10 super chat. We didn't slow down or play any prevent defense. Tommy clearly went for the throat. Hashtag BTFD. All right, Brogan, it's you.
All right, Brogan, you're up.
All right. Are we switching it to the next one, or am I going to read this one again?
Cody, switch it, please. Thanks.
Hold on, I lost the spot.
Jerk.
Wake up, Cody.
Yeah, piece of crap.
Somebody tap him on his shoulder.
Yeah. Cody,
Simon says BTFD $2. BTFD, enjoy every moment this team plays. Big gulp.
and big gulps, huh?
My cock 520, also known as my front pipe 520. $4.99. I will buy Tyler a beer in Indy. Joe, $2. Anyone know why Mike constantly brings up race? Well, I think we all know why.
Yeah.
Back the A, $99.99. I think this is the second one. BTFD, all gas, no brake. Kobe 69420. Not a fan of Koa Pete Thiel. $1.99. The Sweet 16 merchant finally did it. Got one monkey off his back. Couple more to go. TJ Van Martyr, $4.99. The game caught up to Coach Cal when bag dropping became legal for everyone. Maybe some truth in that.
Yeah.
He's underachieved long before NIL, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Hal Jala Kaka Kick.
Hal J. Like call him Hal J.
Hal J, $1.99. Back the sausage.
Right.
AKA back the front pipe.
Yeah.
Scott Joe, $2. Love you, Mike. Well, at least somebody does.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes one. Yeah.
Hunting Arizona. Enjoy the process. $9.99. This is for a beverage when you go to San Jose, Mike. Hashtag bear down. $9.99 will get you one beverage in San Jose.
Yeah, I'll take one.
BAB 5983 $9.99. My worry with Purdue is the refs won't let this be a physical game. Early foul trouble for us. And if lawyer gets hot, also, we're a lot deeper than Purdue. So a foul heavy game probably benefits us.
Right.
Jerbush 7 $4.99. San Jose been fun. The arena was electric. BTFD. You could totally hear the U of A chants on the
that was fantastic.
Big time.
And Saturday, I know so many people that were planning to go just for Saturday too. I think Saturday is even going to be more electric.
I would agree with that. What do you got? All right, is that it? All right, everybody out there, you guys are absolutely fantastic. I don't even know what else to say. It was very humbling, all these super snaps. You guys are the best. Guys, we're going to be back with you. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 2. Hey, you guys want to do the post game on Saturday? Hey, can you get the misses? And what about the Munchkins, Brogan?
I should be good Saturday. I'll let you know. I'll let you know either tonight or in the morning, but I should be good.
Tyler J. Warden, what about you? Or do you have like a football camp or something?
No. So long story, but no. I should be able to. I'll text you.
All right, well, let me know. All right, yes. Everybody also go to Little Caesars. 15% off any online order. Use code SAVE15, code LCFREECC, free crazy combo with a pizza purchase. All right, Simon says, back this pod. Y'all are goats. Appreciated every show, fam. You guys are absolutely the best. Can't thank you guys enough. And we will be back with you tomorrow at 2. Everybody, love your family members. Back the A, baby. We'll be back with you tomorrow. See ya. Woo.